This panel has excellent uniformity across the board, both colors and blacks/grays. The pixel response times are far faster than the 5 milliseconds advertised would lead you to believe, particularly relative to the 1 millisecond response times advertised on other panels. Think of it this way, those are the fastest response times and only one transition amongst literally millions. At 165 Hz a response time of 6 milliseconds would completely eliminate any blurring. And the response times are so fast on this panel that only high-speed photography and fast on-screen movements would even be able to capture any sort of evidence of blur. Ghosting from overshoot is almost entirely eliminated and can only be seen if you specifically find an environmental contrast like a dark object against a bright background and quickly move back and forth and look very close to see it. There's no way you're going to notice this in games. So effectively this panel has no observable blurring or ghosting and is 165 Hz so fast movements look superfluid. The VA panel offers a night and day difference in static contrast relative to IPS and TN panels which normally have at maximum 1000 to 1 static contrast. This panel has a static contrast of 3000 to 1. This is the total difference between the darkest dark on the screen and the lightest lights, and every shade in between. Not just blacks/grays/whites either, but the shading of colors too, which makes them pop. IPS and TN panels look washed out by comparison. And it has G-Sync, a huge contributor to just how much this panel, a VA type that usually is known for smearing, completely eliminates it across all refresh ranges, due to its ability to adaptively adjust its pixel overdrive. I was skeptical about G-Sync and high refresh before I bought this panel. G-Sync is real. The adaptive sync range is 1 FPS to 165 FPS. This is far beyond the capabilities of FreeSync even in its best form. I've cranked up settings, 5K plus 250% resolution, and played at 10 to 11 FPS, which although still only being a 10 FPS slideshow, was also still smooth and playable. The only caveat I'd have with this panel is that the first one I received had a dead pixel just above the center on the screen. I cannot say this is due to generally poor quality control as most reviews have reflected otherwise, but it was there and there's no denying it. Which is why I'm so glad to have bought this panel on Amazon, who promptly sent me a new one which arrived 2 days after I made a ticket. I was allowed to keep the one I had until the new one arrived and return shipping was paid for by Amazon. I am happy to say that the new one is completely free of the defects of the previous one. And it was literally the next one on the assembly line. The serial number of every single component was exactly one number away from the defective panel. I would urge any consumer to promptly inspect all aspects of their product upon receipt no matter how glowing quality control reviews imply. In the end, this is a big and beautiful display with functionality perfectly suited to PC gamers, particularly the overwhelming majority that are GeForce gamers out there. It costs less than most UW displays and requires less GPU power to drive it, which only adds to the benefit that its much higher refresh rate allows. Its uniformity and performance in terms of blurring/ghosting is far superior to even the very best UW displays. Click link in description for more reviews.